Now, we're talking about color composition and color psychology. Color is fascinating because humans react to color in some really interesting psychoneural ways, emotionally, psychologically. We're going to talk about composition generally in another lecture, but color should be used when the color itself is an important part of your image's story. Adding color is going to influence the emotional response of the viewer, whether you intend it or not, whether it's what you thought you were going after or not. It will have an influence, and it will have a fairly predictable one on most viewers. So you need to be aware of it. For example, if you have cool but bright colors, let's say blues and greens, these colors are just naturally calming to the nervous system. Institutions where emotions are fragile, shall we say, use these colors. Why? Because as you can see here, it looks like a landscape. A nice blue sky, nice green foreground. It's just relaxing. If you sit and watch this for a while, every one of your heartbeats, your respiration rates, everything is going to slow down. You're going to get calmer simply because of this color. Now, if we turn that into darker issues, let's say like deeper blues and violets, they're cold, but they can be really regal. These are the colors of authority. These are the colors of night, the powerful metaphor for most people. So these colors need to be used carefully if you're going to use them, because they will certainly get a response too. But remember those nice blue, green colors. Suppose we went the other way. Suppose we went to warm colors, reds and oranges. Well, they excite the nervous system. Just when this slide came up, if you'd been attached to a polygraph, you would have noticed that every one of your heart rates, every one of your breathing rates, your pulse rate, everything would have increased because of seeing this color. And why? Well, some people think it's because it looks more like fire for some reason. Others think it gets our attention because it's really even more primal than fire. It's like blood. Whatever the reason, when you have a color that is primarily reds and oranges, it's going to be more exciting to people. This color is so significant that in speaking tours, particularly among politicians, they are usually told to wear a red tie because that red is going to engage people more than other colors. This pure red, your heart rate just went up a little bit more. Once you realize there's no threat here, it'll settle back down. But you couldn't stop those changes if you tried. It is so powerful. Now, on the other hand, yellows are open. They're welcoming. They're like afternoon sunlight. When you talk about the golden hour, why is that so beautiful and calming and ethereal and powerful? It's because it's yellow. It's more of a yellow gold type of color. So these colors have their own effect on us. Now we can use specific combinations of colors based on their location on the color wheel to help sell your message. If you really want to draw attention to a subject or an area of the image, then use complementary colors. And what do we mean by complementary colors? Here's our color wheel again. Complementary colors are ones that exist across from one another, diametrically opposed to one another across the color wheel. So, for example, red and cyan are complementary colors. If you were in the black and white film days and were looking for filters and you wanted to darken the sky, you'd put a red filter on. Why? Because it passes red and blocks the sky color, which happens to be more cyan than it is blue. Yellow and blue are complementary colors. Colors that are across from one another, on the color wheel. If you make your primary subject one of those colors or the other, and surround it primarily by its complementary color, you will make it just stand out and come popping off the screen. Most eyes cannot deal with complementary colors being on the same screen at the same time and will look away or get retinal retention, and they'll see the primary color against a white or a dark wall for minutes. There's a softer approach than complementary colors. You can use what are referred to as analogous colors. This is sometimes referred to as a family of colors because they're close to one another on the color wheel and they go well together. So here we have our color wheel again. Here, a family of colors is the orange, red, magenta group. Colors that are next to one another on the color wheel. These work well, they're quiet, they don't raise a fuss. It's not like the complementary colors. And it can be any of these. Here, for example, is magenta, blue, and cyan. You can also use specific combinations of colors based on their location to help with your message. Another combination to look for is a triad of colors. These could be primary colors, the red, green, blue. The secondary colors, cyan, magenta, yellow, or they can be tertiary colors as well. These triads of colors are used a lot in the fashion world to find colors to mix and match because they're pleasing to most human eyes. If they're subtle, they make for great winter clothes. If they're not subtle, they make for great spring clothes. Remember, in digital, where the default view is color, you should always use it to your advantage to help tell your photograph story. Don't use it when it doesn't belong, when it's actually diluting what you're trying to say. And sometimes color does. Sometimes it gets in the way. But when it's necessary, when it's important, then not only use it, but use it to your advantage. If the color in the scene is not important, or if using color does not enhance your message, then convert the image to grayscale. But don't put color in if it doesn't need it. But if it does, use it to your advantage. Okay, so we're at the end of this presentation. If you have any questions, that's what email's for. And I will see you guys on the other side.